Have you ever wondered why college athletes don't get paid? Is it because they aren't pro? Maybe because the NCAA wants to save some money? My name is Kenny Walter, and today I'm going to introduce you to this topic and explain why college athletes should be paid just like professional athletes. Student athletes are regular people with a full-time job. The majority of their time goes into team practice, games, self-recovery, and much more. Athletes such as LeBron James from the LA Lakers makes $85 million on a 2-year deal, while college athletes make zero. Student athletes should be paid for what they do because they put in the same amount of time, effort into their sport just like professional athletes, and they deserve to be treated much better. Today I will present you detailed information about why student athletes should be paid and what they do to deserve it. I will also be showing you examples on how much some professional athletes make and do a comparison of what the student athletes make. After researching some of these things and student athletes receive, it is embarrassing to think about how much money real athletes and real pro athletes make and then what college athletes make. I will start off by showing you an ongoing problem on how college athletes can't accept endorsements or even simple commercials. Since March 31st, 1906, college athletes were told by rule that they were not allowed to be paid, collect prize money, or accept endorsements by any means. Colleges to this day will not allow their athletes to be paid by NCAA law. In 2019, the NCAA was sued by a football player from Villanova, Trey Johnson, because athletes were not being paid as employees. No specific sport is allowed to be paid, and the others aren't, which is one big reason and should be hopefully changed soon. The NCAA says the students must maintain an amateur status in college, which neglects them in being paid in any type of way. Many athletes have been offered money, but have been rejected because of the rules, such as quarterback from Clemson, Trevor Lawrence. The student's name is not to be used in merchandise, as well as trading cards, jerseys, or anything along those lines. I'm starting to see that the NCAA says that they are moving closer to letting their athletes be paid, but only by endorsement and not the college itself. One way students can be paid is by commercials. Many top athletes such as Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and any other sports can start getting paid soon just with commercials and endorsement deals, but not the college itself. Another way students can make money is to have their merchandise with their last name and number and be sold in many retail stores. Athletes being paid would take care of their injuries that happen in college, their recovery bills, as well as the rent they pay for housing other than a dorm. Athletes would be able to have their health care taken care of, as with money and past medical bills. Although they cannot be paid through the school can offer bigger scholarships to help athletes come back and finish their degrees. In 2019, the California legislature passed a law saying that students and other college athletes can make money from social media using their likeness and popularity. Athletes should be able to make money using social media because it does not affect the school in a harmful way, but helps the students, athletes collect currency. Some lawmakers say it is getting closer to where student athletes might be getting paid and that endorsements are willing to be accepted in the near future. The main reason why college athletes can't be paid is using the names of the athletes puts all in their information and distracts them from the sport that they are playing. Since the universities are paying athletes in scholarship money, they think it is wrong for them to make money on their own using their own name and likeness. Colleges do not want their athletes to make mistakes in social media and be kicked out of the school. If an athlete were to post something on social media that was not appealing to them, the scholarship would be taken away and the athletes would be kicked out of the school. Now I have talked about why athletes can't be paid. Now let's take a look at when they might be able to accept money and what the limits along those lines are. All three divisions of the NCAA are changing the rules on athletes can accept money, but in the summer of 2021, the rules can completely change. The board of the NCAA is still chatting about this subject and could change this summer. The final vote will happen next January, headed into 2022. A benefit to college athletes getting paid is to help their families. If college athletes get paid, they will be able to give back to their families and show love in many different kinds of ways. Another benefit to them going pro is to have some money in case they do not make it pro. Many athletes do not go pro and they need some backup money in case of a backup plan. Universities want to see their athletes go pro, and there are too many stories of college athletes going in the wrong direction and ending up homeless. One more benefit is that universities can save more money by not handing out as many scholarships, but letting them pay for their full tuition from the money that they endorse. In conclusion, If athletes were to be paid and would be able to live a more stress-free life, but they'd work as hard as they can at the same time. 100% of student athletes cannot be paid regarding the rules, but can be subject to change by next year. If there are petitions to sign regarding this subject, please sign up for them so our athletes can make a living on their own. Get in touch with athletes to discover more information about the subject and how hard they work to get there. I appreciate you listening to me in my persuasive speech, and I hope we can fight this together.